Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And I'm here for another Monday vlog, and if you're new to my channel, this is just a once a week video I do to keep you updated on current things, let you know of collaborations that are coming up, different projects I've been doing, maybe a little bit of how-to, though usually I'll often have separate videos for that, and whatever else strikes my fancy to talk about. So let's get to the topics of today. Now, before I talk about how I roasted these sunflower seeds, I got something I need to get out of the way first right at the top, and that is for those who are interested in purchasing our product. A lot of you have been responding by sending me the emails to add you to the list. And I've been working, I'm actually having to make separate lists because I can't send to over, I don't know how many hundreds of people at a time. So now I'm having to make separate lists and send them to each list individually. But anyway, I discovered something new about payment methods. So for those who prefer to use a credit or debit card, this has just really made me happy. You do not have to have a PayPal account to do that, to use your credit or debit card. All you have to do is ask me to send you a request for payment once we decide on the products that you want to order, and then you can you'll get that request to your email, and then all you have to do is go through that link and then put in your credit or debit card information and name and address, obviously, because you have to have that for any kind of payment anyway. And I was really thrilled, so I just had somebody do that. But the other thing I have to say is I'm going back again on the checks. I'll still take postal money orders for those who don't want to do any kind of digital type payments, but I'm going to have to say no to the checks again, because something, and I haven't had any bad experiences yet, not since I was teaching dance years ago, but it's something I forgot about, is that if somebody writes a check and it bounces, not only does the person who writes the bad check have to pay a pretty big fee, then the person who cashes or deposits that check to their account gets charged a fee as well, which doesn't make any sense to me. So I've had to pay fees on bad checks back when I was teaching dance and martial arts before, and that was pretty frustrating. Thankfully, it didn't happen often, but because of that, and I'm having to deal with so many people, if you got to go non-digital and you want to go old school, postal money order is going to be the way. It's going to be faster than a check anyway, because you don't have to wait for it to clear the bank. Once I get it and cash it, the money's good. So anyway, just a little update there. Now let's get on to the other topics I have to talk about. So the roasting sunflower seeds. So what happened was, last year I had bought some sunflower seeds. You might remember I did a video on buying them, and I'd been looking hard for organic sunflower seeds that were both roasted and salted, and it was so hard to find, and I finally found them at one of my favorite places through Amazon, and I bought a great amount of them. But Patrick loves those sunflower seeds, especially whenever he's on the road, which he's been out a lot lately, so he always keeps those on hand. Well, I went back to stock up on more just to stay ahead, and found out they had at least doubled in price. I know that it's at least doubled in price, and I was just flabbergasted. So I went to Azure Standard, even though they only sell the raw unsalted ones. I thought, why not just roast them myself and salt them? Because Azure Standard has the best price on the sunflower seeds, organic. So I started off with just a 5-pound bag first so I can try it out. And I got about half of them done. So here they are right here. And it's super simple. All you do is you spread them out on your baking sheet. You want a thin layer. You don't want them piled up high, but just enough to cover that whole sheet. And the best way to do it is take that cookie sheet, I found out, and then just kind of shake it a little bit like that, and they'll all spread out evenly. So you pour it on there, shake it out, and then you can see if you need to add more. Stick it in your oven at 350 degrees, and you're gonna go for at least 15 minutes to maybe 18 minutes. But you're going to need to stir it in between. What I found best to do is to stir it every 5 minutes. Go to about, for him, because he likes them just a little more roasted, going about 17 or 18 minutes. But just keep checking them. So I just take the spatula, stir it, and then give that sheet a shake again so they'll all lay flat and nothing's piled up on each other. And you can see in this image right here, here's a side-by-side showing the roasted ones and the unroasted ones before they went in the oven, so you can see the difference in color. Super easy. Oh yes, and I forgot to say, I sprinkle a little salt before I put them in the oven. And then when they came out and I tasted them, I sprinkled just a little more salt over the top. And so that's working out good. Definitely going to save money. I'll be doing a separate video on this since we haven't started fires yet. We've been getting chilly nights, but it's still been way too warm in the day to have even fires early in the morning to take the chill off the house. But once we have fires going in the wood stove again, I'm going to be I'm saving the rest to do on the wood stove. So that should be coming up soon. And once I do that, I'll do a separate video on roasting the sunflower seeds, talking about both using your range and using your wood stove and doing the comparisons there. Because that's, whenever we have fires going, which is usually about 9 months out of the year in the wood stove, that's where we do all the cooking, at least some of the baking, and all the coffee brewing and tea making. So anyway, update on that to come, probably not too far down the road. Now let's talk about the collaborations and the quilt squares I got in. So first, let me show you. One of the ladies that sent a quilt square sent me this nice little tote that also came with a matching dandelion notebook or journal. And she sent me a pen to go with it. And then here is the quilt square she made. It's very 3D. Love it. Isn't that great? I just love it. And there's the back. And then another lady sent me 2 squares like this. They're very similar. I do like this idea of doing them wherever I put them in the quilt, that they're not facing the exact same way. And what's interesting is the back. I've used this very same fabric. It's cotton in a skirt that I made, and it's called Ode to Joy. I'm hoping to make more of those. I am getting back into skirt making, and it's going pretty well. I'm managing to do it. I probably won't be able to pump them out as quick as I used to, but I managed to get 2 done this week with even with the grandbabies here. And then I sold them both, plus one more that I had made last year that I kept forgetting about and forgetting to get listed. I only had some final details to add to it, like writing Rain Country on the tag inside the skirt. That's all I had to do, and then give it a look over. But sold all 3 of them in a day once I got sent those emails out. So that was pretty cool. So anyway, this fabric, if you're interested in where I get a lot of my more unique printed fabrics for the best price, is fabric.com. And I love that place. So you can find all kinds of great stuff there. And thank you to those who've sent the quilt squares so far. I need to recount them again and see where we're at. I'm pretty sure I'm going to need at least another 15. And if you're interested, I'll link you back to the video I did a few months back on the quilt squares and the collaboration. Just know that the photo collaboration I was talking about in there is already said and done. And we just had another one come out this last week on the fermentation. Went really well. I'm loving the feedback I'm getting on these collaborations, and they're a lot of work putting the video together, but it is also a lot of fun. It's fun seeing all the different things that people are doing with the stuff I've been teaching. And one thing that I really appreciated people were bringing up that I didn't even think of is that as people come in and see those videos, they realize just how much my videos have taught other people, and it's inspiring them to get on board. So that's pretty cool. And that really just brings me a lot of joy to know that I've been able to inspire and teach people and get them learning new things, or even if it's the same things they've already learned, maybe learning new twists on ways to do things, because I like being as unique as possible. So I'll be doing more photo collaborations. The very next one is the garden collaboration. So preferably garden photos from 2022. And you're going to send those photos. Try to get the best quality photos you can at raincountryhomestead@gmail.com. And hopefully, I hoped by the end of this month, maybe getting it together, but it's probably going to be later in October when I get that together. I've already got quite a few photos in now, and make sure you know exactly what name you want me to put. Sometimes I'm unsure. Do you want your first name only, first name, last initial, full name, or even your channel name? So make sure that I know that in the email when you send that to me. And then the one I plan on doing after that is going to be cooking related. So based on recipes that I've shared. If you're following any of my recipe videos, whether it be something like the almond chicken or any of the bread recipes I have out, or even the homemade chocolate recipes I have out there, I have all kinds of different recipes. So be thinking about that. That will be coming probably closer to November, December, when we start working on that one. Okay, and then something else exciting. Here we go. So I did a video a month or two ago about a new one about dehydrating ground meats, including sausage. And so here's the sausage. You can see there's a lot of fat in there. So I can't remember the actual date. So this has been sitting back there for at least a month, 2 months. And I had some leftover gravy from biscuits and gravy. And usually what I do is open a jar of meatballs and we'll serve that over rice. But I didn't want to open another jar of meatballs because I just done that. So I thought, why not take that extra gravy and add the Italian sausage to it? And since it was a sunny day, that's what I did. I put it in a little pan, stuck it in the solar oven, added some of the dehydrated mushrooms I had and some of the dehydrated Italian sausage, and oh boy, was it good. It was really tasty. I didn't really eat any. I just tasted some of the sausage in the gravy so I could get an idea. It rehydrated beautifully in the gravy without me having to do much more, but add just a little extra water to the gravy to make sure there was plenty in there to rehydrate both the dehydrated mushrooms and the sausage, but it was great. And then I vacuum sealed the jar again. This is really important, especially when you leave the fat in the meats, to vacuum seal it. That's going to prevent it from going rancid. Okay, then another thing right here, I have these little tubs, little jars of, this is avocado butter. So I have a video coming out that's more detailed about the Halal Everyday brand that I'm currently affiliated with because I've been using their black seed oil already, and then they contacted me. I mentioned them either in last week's This and That or the week before, I don't recall. And I decided I would try something new because I really like mango butter, but I can't use it around my eyes. It always bothers my eyes, so I can only use it in other places. And I seen they had avocado butter, and I know that doesn't bother me. And even though I have my own skin cream, which uses an infused avocado oil from my own herbs that I grow in my garden, and coconut oil and beeswax, I still like trying other products just for fun. And anytime I try something new, I always use it plain first to see how it works. And so the avocado butter is very, very soft. Let me open the one that's not so full. It came in a bag, and so what I did was took it out of the bag and then filled the different jars. So that's what it looks like. It's very soft. It actually has the same kind of texture and feel and softness as shortening does. And so you can use this as a nice skin cream just as is. There's no scent to it. I used it around my eyes to make sure, and it didn't bother my eyes at all. So just as is, it's great. It just feels really wonderful. It's very smooth. And then, of course, you can add any essential oils to it that you want to give it a nice scent, especially those oils that are really good for your skin, like frankincense, ylang ylang, geranium, rose, even grapefruit is really good. So I just thought I'd mention that I did try it. I noted in the video that's coming out about the Halal Everyday, about that brand, I noted in the video that I had ordered up this to try it, but I didn't have it in yet, so I wanted to make sure I covered that here. I'll be putting a link down below to Halal Everyday, and I believe you get a 10 or 15% discount if you go through that link if you're wanting to look for a good organic black seed oil, which that's the brand I use, or anything else. The kaolin clay, I'm loving that. I did try another clay. It's nice. I don't like it as much as the kaolin clay. And then I tried their mango butter, and I'll probably be trying some other products down the road because they do sell a lot of the other things I typically will use in making my skin cream, such as beeswax and shea butter and so much more. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about, I don't have the jar out here, but I'm still getting cucumbers in. Thanks, even though they're so late, thankfully we've been getting a steady amount of cucumbers coming in. And I've been eating them fresh mostly, but I've been fermenting some too. So last week, I think I mentioned starting with a small jar. Love them, but decided one of the reasons I wanted to go with a small jar is I wasn't sure if I wanted to cut them in slices again like I used to do, or if I wanted to try chunks. And so I started with some chunks a little bigger than I preferred, and it was good. But in the next batch, I cut them just a little bit smaller, and I do like that better because it's just easier to eat. It absorbs more of the flavors, especially since you're only letting it ferment for 3 days. And also the other reason I make a small amount at a time is so that it doesn't have time to go mushy. So you can work on one jar while you're working on that one jar, you can get another jar started back to back like that. That's the best way to do it, especially if you know you're going to eat through it. Even with grape leaves and the horseradish leaves, the pickles, the cucumbers can still go mushy if you leave them too long in the fridge. So it's better to work through them as fast as you can. But anyway, cucumber kimchi, delicious. I love it. I think, at least right now, maybe because I still just been in the mood for cucumbers, I'm preferring the cucumber kimchi over my standard cabbage kimchi. But anyway, if you'd like a recipe and how I make kimchi, I'll link to the standard one below. This is not using a brine like the way I used to do it, which is the standard old-fashioned way, is using a salt brine. I do this a little differently, and it works. You get a nice fizzy kimchi. It's so tasty, and this way also means that your vegetables will stay a little crunchier because you're not having to let it ferment for so long. But it's all a matter of taste too. So anyway, I'll link to that video down below. Same principle applies. You're just replacing the cabbage with the fresh cucumber. And I love it. And you can make it as spicy as you want. And by the way, I did use the horseradish leaves. They did add a nice flavor. Even if they don't keep them crisp for a long period of time, at least they add a nice flavor. Okay, well, like always, I'm pretty sure I'm forgetting something, but that's okay. This video is plenty long the way it is. So anyway, don't forget to check the links I'll be putting in the description box down below by clicking on either show more right down here below my channel name or the little arrow triangle, whatever's over here on this side if you're on a smart device. Oh, and please share if you've made any kind of kimchi or the dehydrated meat and you've been using it or anything else. Share with us down below what you've used these, if you've done this, if you've used these things, and what were your thoughts on all this. All right, well, thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.